Before we start, all this information came from the developer diary on Wednesday, September 21st. I take the information, make it easier to understand and upload it to YouTube so that more people will know what will be in the new DLC.
Art and achievements. What changed? Well, I would like to tell more about the DLC, By Blood Alone. Without giving too much away, here's a heavily zoomed out version of how a Miro board can look like that I as an artist work with. Here is an example of how a request turns into an icon, that you may or may not already have seen. This is a typical request. It has an in-game name displayed, reference images provided, as well as a description of what my CD wants out of the icon. It is also prioritized. And this is how it ends up looking. This is also a typical request when a CD isn't 100% sure on what would or could look the best and leaves that up for me to figure out. Icons are requested the same throughout the art process, so name, description, and prio are all there. It's just that this time I didn't get any reference material, and that's perfectly normal. The prompt is Italian and American fighters incoming in a dogfight over Italian landscape. Cool, let's go ahead and make some thumbnails then. Once again, several thumbnails are presented for the others to choose from. Typical hierarchy methods are used here. Black equals most visually interesting, gray equals further away, and white, light gray equals low focus. The last one, A3+5, was chosen and started to get some more details in a simple grayscale setup. This time I quickly wanted to take it into color and started to experiment with what kind of setting looked best. After going with a more sunset evening vibe, because it looks more epic, I started to experiment with a range of those color schemes as well as trying out some different styles. Here you also can see that I had no idea I was painting the wrong plane, but that doesn't matter because we are still very early in the process and just trying to find a good mood. I also noticed that the balancing of the image was off since we need to take into consideration the different kinds of resolutions it's gonna sit on. So to solve this I pushed the whole image down and, thankfully, it was just drawing more sky this time. Paradox have a fantastic 3D artist on the team that needs to model some planes for the DLC anyway. He was generous enough to pose the plane on top of the background, and now it's just painting over them a bit to make them blend into the image and look cohesive. 3D render of the planes. 3D render on top of WIP background. Along the way, what if we tilt the plane some more to have the wing cut through the cloud better? Needless to say, 3D artist had tilt his model and render a new one, which he so kindly did. Looks nice. But back to figure out the BG again. Adding motion blur, air trails, and a propeller as well as bounce light and painting in the sky in the plane's window, I think I made it work nicely together. And the loading screen is done. And now for something completely different. I was thinking that you guys might be tired of reading about the art process now, so I'm just gonna drop a bunch of art stuff for you at this point. Enjoy the small selection of what's to come for BBA. Cute misc icons. Focus icons. Portraits. Italy. Switzerland. Ethiopia. Why yes, Paradox can't forget about the achievements for BBA. They always think about what type of achievement can be done for each DLC. This time around I hope you guys will have a few laughs and also maybe think, well that's easy, or oh no, how? 3D art for BBA. Of course, we need to show, last but definitely not least, the 3D art that was made for BBA. T-posing soldiers 07. Cute tanks. Adorable planes. And with that, I'll wrap up this week's, and last DD for By Blood Alone. Thank you for hanging around for this long. I truly hope you enjoyed getting a peek behind the curtain of a HOI4 production.